31 today. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, is it? Okay, now?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's chant the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी भाष्यतदे सतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
So we were on chapter 11, so let me revise quickly. So we were on text 31 last week. Yes. Yeah. So what happened as of now is, so in chapter 10, when Krishna says that I pervades everywhere, and then Arjuna wanted to see that how Krishna pervades in the universe. And Krishna says that by my energy I pervades everywhere, right? And then in chapter 11, Krishna started showing his divine universal form. And then Arjuna could not see the form, but still then Krishna says, I will give you the divine eye by which you can actually see this universal form. So in one place, Arjuna standing and seeing the whole universe in one place. So he sees, we have discussed as of now, he sees many hands, many legs, bellies, expanding all around. He could not see end, he could not see starting of that. And nearly to this 31 verse, he also see that how Krishna's mouth is like blazing fire, and all the people in the war, they are actually entering into Krishna's mouth. They are somewhere, clashing with the teeth and things, right? By seeing those things, we'll see what happens next. And Krishna gives an example, and Arjuna gives an example as well, like in how this moth, the insect who get attracted towards the light, but when it goes to fire, it says light, but in the fire he dies actually, right? That was our couple of more previous verses back. And then Arjuna started saying that, oh Krishna, you are actually, I see you are devouring all the people from all sides with your flaming mouth, right? And then let's continue what Krishna, Arjuna says. Arjuna is saying now, after seeing the form of Krishna, which is actually very terrible, and even this revealed us to all the devatas as well, and all the devatas, they used to bow down to this universal form. And now Arjuna, after seeing those, he's speaking to Krishna in the written. So we'll continue from text 31, and let's see. So text 31, he asks a question, and then from text 32, Krishna replies him. Let's try to repeat the text 31. Akhyani, please repeat if possible. Akhyani me
Me.
go bhavan
Bhavan,
Bhavan,
Ugra,
Nugra,
Rupo,
Rupo,
Akhyani Meko Bhavan Ugra Rupo,
Akhyani,
Akyani me
Meko, Bhavan, Nugra, Rupo,
Namo
Namo
Namo,
Tu
Stu,
Te
Te,
Te
Deva
Deva,
Vara
Vara,
Vara
Prasida.
Prasida,
Prasida.
Namostu te Deva Vara Prasida.
Namostu, Te,
Namaste.
Deva, Vara, Prasida,
Vigyatum
Vigyatum,
Vikyam.
Ikshami
Michhami,
Bhavantam
Bhavantam,
Adyam
Madhyam,
Vigyatum Ichhami Bhavantam Adyam
Vigyatumi bhavantamakam
Nahi
nahi
Prajanami
prajanami
Tava
tava
Pravrittim
pravritim
Nahi Prajanami Tava Pravrittim.
nahi prajanami tava pravritim.
So says Akhyahi, please explain me unto me, Kaha, who, Bhavan, you, Ugra Rupa, fierce form, Namastu, obeisances te, unto you, Devavara, O great one among the demigods, Prasiddha, be gracious, Vigyatum, to know, Ikshami, I wish, Bhavantam, you, Adyam, the original, no, not, he certainly prajanami, do I know tava your pravritim mission. So he says now, O Lord of the Lords, O fierce of the form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the premier Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. So before this, Arjuna was actually he has been kind of friend of Krishna, isn't it? In chapter 4, he says, "Oh Krishna, you are my friend. You know, you've been brought up with me. But how could we explain this knowledge to Vivaswan some millions years ago?" Right? And then Krishna says, "You take many birth, I take many birth. But I remember everything. I'm a man, but I and you deteriorate." And then now here, when he see Krishna's fearful form, the universal form, ghastly form, so where he could see the fire from his mouth and everyone gushing over there, and he see no end, is no limit to this body expanding everywhere in all the directions. And now he says, "Your fierce form." So by seeing all your fierce form, please tell me who are you, and I'm offering my obeisances unto you. Right, and please be gracious to me. So this is the way, this is the understanding by which to know Krishna, so by requesting him. So some people claims, okay, can you show me God? If God is supreme, then can you show me God? Do you believe in God? Can I show me God? It's not that way to know Krishna. To know Krishna, to know God, is actually by asking with a respect and with by his mercy only. So he's saying, I'm offering obeisances to you, I'm paying my pranams to you. Oh Krishna, can you please be gracious to me so that you tell me about you? Who are you? Right. So he says, I want to know more about you, for I do not know what your mission is. I want to know what your mission is. See, the Kurukshetra war is actually not an ordinary war. It's actually being all planned by Krishna himself. And it's kind of match fixing. It's already war is fighting is going on, but we know who is going to win from the starting as well, right? So here also in this chapter, Krishna so to Arjuna clearly that everyone, all the warrior, actually they are rushing into towards death, right? And let's see. So once he asks the question to Krishna, please tell me who are you? I'm actually in terrible. I'm terrified by seeing your form. Please explain to me who are you. Now Krishna starts explaining. The section is very, very important where Krishna says, who am I? So one form, so the form what we as a devotee see is Syama Sundara form, 200 form, where Krishna has a flute all the time, and he's go with the gopis or Srimati Radharani and with the gopas playing around in the cowherd boys in Vrindavan. That's the most a charming form. But to understand more about Krishna's energy, how Krishna pervades in this material world, that's also another form, Krishna's universal form. Now Krishna is going to say who he is. So that's another energy form. See, text 32. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Please repeat. Kaloshmi
Kalishmi
Kaloshmi
Loka
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 Shaya
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 Krit
Raka
Krit
Pravruddho.
Pravradho.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Uvacha
Vacha
Kaloshmi Loko Shaya Krit Prabuddho.
Kaloshmi Lokashaya Krat Pravradho
Lokan
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 Samahartam
Samaharat
Sahamatam
Mritam
Iha
Miha
Iha
Pravrittaha.
Pravrit
Pravrittaha
Lokan Samahartam Iha Pravrittaha.
Lokan Samaha Miha Pravrittaha
Vritte
Krite
Rita
Pe
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 Pi Tvam
Pitvam
Itvam
Na
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 Bhavishyanti
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 Sarve.
Sarve
Sarve
Rite Pi Tvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve.
Rite Pin Tvam
Ritim
Na Bhavishyanti Sarve
Ye
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 Vasthitaha
Vastitaha
Vastah
Pratye
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 Anikeshu
Anikeshu
Nikeshu
Yodhaha.
Yodhaha
Yudha
ये वस्थिताः प्रत्यनीकेषु योधा.
Ye
Ye
Vastita
Vastah Pratye
Pratyanikeshu Yodha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Kalah, time asmi, I am. Loka, of the worlds. Kshayakrit, the destroyer. Pravriddhi, the great. Lokan, all people. Samahritam, in destroying. Iha, in this world. Pravritti, engaged. Ritte, without, except for. Api, even. Tvam, you. No, never. Bhishyanti, will be. Sarve, all. Ye, who. Avasthita, situated. Prati anikeshu, on the opposite sides. Yodha, the soldiers. What the meaning is, translation is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, time I am the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on the both sides will be slain. So Krishna is actually giving his verdict about the war. He's clearly mentioning that I am the time, and I am here to destroy all the people. Right? What the exception is? Exception is you, Pandavas will be remain. Rest from many of people from both sides will be actually going to get slain, isn't it? So that's Krishna is claiming here. And why the time is? So the time is very, very important factor here. This time, Krishna is saying the time I'm the time. So time is actually destroying us. Every seconds, every minutes, every moment, we are actually being destroyed, and we are actually approaching toward death, isn't it? Even if Arjuna do not fight the war, even if goes away, all the warrior, they are actually going to die. Anyway, they are going to die because of time, right? So Krishna is claiming that I am the time itself, and I am the great destroyer of the worlds. If you see, in times, we see everything get destroyed as well, isn't it? So we see everywhere by the time how the people they are getting actually death. But in this context here, Krishna says that the people who are gathered in the war, except you, Pandavas, all soldiers here on both sides will be slain. So Krishna has already given his verdict about the war. So Prabhupada says in purport that although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual mission of his this devastating force. And it is written in the Vedas that supreme truth destroy everything, even the Brahmanas, as there in Katha Upanishad. Right. So that's Prabhupada mentions about the other Upanishads as well, how Krishna, being a time, he destroy everything. And one thing to understand here is Krishna says, I am time, Kalosmi. And imagine we struggle to manage time, isn't it? And if we struggle to manage time, but if we can have friendship towards Krishna, maybe actually we can become devotee of Krishna, then Krishna is going to manage our time. So sometimes people think, how can we take out 2 hours of time to chanting the holy name? How can we take out time? So interesting fact is, we can nicely sorry to say, but we can nicely sit for 3 hours movie watching without any deflections, without any deviation. But when we sit for hours in any Bhagavatam class, we get distracted. When we sit for half an hour in any kirtan, we get distracted, isn't it? So both are different, right? There we are, because we wanted to enjoy that. Prabhupada says we are advancing toward enjoying and going away from Krishna consciousness. But actually, if we can manage our time towards Krishna consciousness, then it will be much beneficial for us. So because Krishna is the one who is actually managing the time, and Krishna will provide us the time to do things. Right. So that was this point where Krishna says that here Prabhupada writes in the last paragraph, he says, death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were all already dead. We'll see in the next word Krishna says they're all dead, because time is destruction and all the manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That the law of nature. Even when when we were discussing earlier in this previous chapters where Krishna speaks about the time of Lord Brahma, right? Sastra Yuga Paryantam. So Lord Brahma remained for 100 years, and however his 100 years is nearly around 311 trillion years. So he lives for many long lives, and his one day is 1,000 Chatru Yoga, and that same as a night in a similar way, a month and a year and 100 years, right? So in that calculation, it's too fast comparing to us. We just live for 100 years maybe in this age. And how can we understand it that Lord Brahma also lives for 100 years, but his life is too long? As we are discussing in a couple of previous week, that the insects, they come to the fire and the burn. Even if you have seen in India, mostly in Diwali times, some insects, they come to in the night, toward the light, and in the morning we see all are dead. And just imagine, Prabhupada gives example of this, these two insects. If one of the insects, he says, you know what, the one who has light this lamp, he actually lives for many years compared to us. So just imagine that insect live for some 5 to 6 hours. And if you compare that 5 to 6 hours with our life, actually we are living a huge life compared to that. In a similar way, Lord Brahma's life is actually much huger than us, right? So that's why Krishna says even that also get destroyed one day. That universe comes to an end, right? When Lord Brahma dies after 100 years, right? So that's the laws of nature. So what we speak of we living being. Let's see what Krishna says next. This is very important verse, right? Now Krishna says, Tashmat
Tasma
Tvam
Tvam
Uttishta
Muttishta
Yasho
Yasho
Lavashva.
Labhasva
Tashmat Tvam Uttishta Yasho Lavashva.
Tasma Tvamuttishta Yasho Labhasva
Jitva
Yasva
Shatrun
Chatrun
Vangshva
Bhushva
Rajyam
Rajam
Samriddham.
Smrityam
Jitva Satrum Vangshva Rajyam Samriddham.
Jitva Shatrum Bhushva Rajam Smritam
Mayyavete
Mayavete
Nihataha
Nihataha
Purvameva
Purvameva
Mayavete Nihata Purvameva
Mayavete Nihata Purvameva
Nimitta
Nimitta
Matram
Matram
Bhava
Bhava
Sabhyasachin.
Savyasachi
Nimitta Matram Bhava Sabhyasachin.
Nimittamatram Bhava Savyasachi.
So Tashmat. So Krishna has told now that actually what he says here, that by the time I am time and I am destroying everyone. And now he says, Tasmat, therefore, Tvam, you, Uttishta, get up, Yashah, fame, Lavasya, gain, Jitva, conquering Shatrum, enemies, Bhongshva, enjoy, Rajyam, the kingdom, Samruddham, flourishing, Maya, by me, Eva, certainly, Ete, all these, Nihatad, killed, Purvam Eva, by previous arrangement, Nimitta Matram, just the cause, Bhava, become Sabyasachi. So Krishna is saying that by my arrangement, all are already being killed. So you just become the cause and enjoy this, get the fame and enjoy this kingdom. Right? He says, therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. So, as Arjuna has seen that everyone is going towards Krishna's mouth, and it's all fiery fire over there. And now Krishna is saying that, oh Arjuna, get up, I am time. I'll devour everyone. Don't worry. And he's saying already that I have put everyone to death. Right. So it's all my arrangement is there. Now you just take the credit and win the war. And I wanted you Pandavas to rule the kingdom. He don't want Duryodhana to rule the kingdom. Yes, in question, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, why was Arjuna known as Savyasachi also?
Yes, Sabyasachi is the one of the greater warrior. So one
Great warrior.
who shoots arrows very well. His name is Sabyasachi.
Oh.
So that's why his name is Sabyasachi is. So he's saying I'll come to this point. But see, this is a very, very important line actually. So Krishna is saying that I have put everyone by my arrangement to death. You take the credit and enjoy the kingdom. That's it. So the point here is, even he's saying Sabyasachi is with basically a great warrior, or the one who can shoot arrows very nicely. So even if you have so much of caliberity, but still you just become nimitta, just become the cause. So the point is, just imagine in our context, in our life, if we are best or good at something, then we would take proud, isn't it? We would say, oh, why I will become nimitta, why I will become cause, I can win the war. But Krishna is saying everything is done. And the point is, if you see, Duryodhana was fighting the war because of 2%, 3%, you can say, especially 2%, Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama. Dronacharya is the one who has taught all the warriors the Arthashastra, right? How the Yuddha Shastras, all things, right? He knows very well, and Arjuna knew very well that he cannot defeat Dronacharya. Even Bhishma Pitama is even he sometimes he has beaten to Parshurama. Yes, so he knew very well, and that's why Duryodhana was betting on these two. And even Duryodhana has said so many bad words to Bhishma Pitama to invoke him to fight against the Pandavas, because Bhishma Pitama was not intend to fight with the Pandavas, but he has to do because he was on their part. And Arjuna also knew this very well, and he to defeat them defeat them is very, very difficult to Arjuna and for Pandavas. But Krishna says it's all my arrangement, don't worry, and you take the credit. And the point to learning here is that we need to become an instrument of instructions of Krishna. We cannot say that, okay, I have got this intelligence, and Krishna says I give intelligence. Krishna says I give everything. So whatever we have is actually by the mercy of Krishna, and now what we have to offer it to Krishna. So Sabyasachi, Arjuna has this great warrior quality, and now Krishna is saying you just offer it to me and just become Nimitri, become instrument, nothing else. Right? That's the understanding from this chapter and this verse. especially this line, that becoming instrument in serving Krishna. Understanding that we cannot do anything by our own will. Even in not, if Lord Brahma says, even not a single blade of grass moves without the will of Lord. So what do you speak of our thing, right? And then Krishna says, everything is all arranged. You just fight the war, become the instrument. Why? There's another reason. The time I am, if time kills people, then they will say, okay, time has come, so here God died. There's no there. I won't get the credit of killing people, right, as a time. But if you win the war, though they have already been dead, if you win the war, you will get fame. Krishna says, Uttishta and get yashaha, get the fame, gain the fame by fighting the war, and you don't have to do anything because everything is all planned, right? It's like match already fixed. You need to play it, and you are winning it, right? Nothing else is there. So let's see what Prabhupada says. Yes, Prabhupada here writes here, Sabyasachi refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus, Arjuna is addressed as an expert. The point here is I was mentioning that even if someone is expert warrior, then also he need to follow the orders of Krishna, being as an instrument toward Krishna, not being a proud, okay, I can do everything, right? That
Arjuna is just a better instrument.
Yes. Yeah.
A better instrument.
Yeah. So an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemy. So just become an instrument. So this Prabhupada again mentioned, this word is also very, very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that the nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formation. Nothing is accidental. Take it for granted. Nothing is accidental. We are discussing Krishna Katha is also not accidental. And nothing happens accidentally. It's everything is actually planned. Everything is working under Krishna's plan. So Prabhupada mentions again, continues here. So there are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that, but there is no question of perhaps and maybe. There is specific plan being carried out in the material world. And what the plan? The cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to God and back to home. This is the only place, actually by which we can actually go back to spiritual world. It's very, very difficult to go back to spiritual world from heavenly kingdom. Even it's very difficult to go back from the hellish kingdom, hellish planet, because in heavenly kingdom you enjoy, you don't think of going back to Godhead. But what happens, Krishna says earlier, that we go to heavenly kingdom and we enjoy all our good karmas, and then again come back to this material world. We go to the hellish kingdom, hellish planet, we suffer there, and then again come back to gradually to this planet, to the earthly planet. However, in the earthly planet, the living being, as a human being, we have a chance. This Prabhupada says conditioned souls. We are conditioned by what? We are conditioned by three modes, the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. We are acting under their control. So one, we have to get aloof of it, that's coming into Krishna consciousness, and then by which we can go back to home. It's very difficult for animals to understand the philosophy, from where I came, why I'm suffering, why I'm here, why I got animal's life. But human being can do it. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So that's something that the first verse says in our that we need to inquire about our own self. That Prabhupada says the spirituality comes in three things. If you understand it, all done. One is who I am. Second is who is God. And the third is what is the relationship between me and God. So who I am not his body. I am a spiritual soul, spirit soul. And then who is God? Krishna is supreme God. And then what relationship between him? That I am the servant of the Lord. That's it. So when we understand, okay, I'm servant of Lord, then what happens? We start serving him. Isn't it? And when we start serving him, we start releasing the relationship more and more and more. And hence we are capable of going back to God. That's why Prabhupada says this cosmic manifestation is to go back to spiritual world, not to remain here. So we can take more examples here, like prison. No one wants to be in the prison, isn't it? They one wants to come back. Anyone in the prison, he says, okay, I want to come back to my family and live there. In a similar way, this material world is also compared to prison of the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, we did something in time immemorial. We wanted to enjoy our own self, devoiding of Krishna. So Krishna said, okay, go in the material world, enjoy it, and once you get frustrated, you'll come back to me. Right? So that's why this is being created. So as long as they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over the material nature, they are conditioned. So whenever I think that I am that creator, I am the doer, I can win the war, when I comes, the proudness comes, it means I'm trying to dominate this material nature, and then we are conditioned. And when we understand that actually everything is Krishna's, whatever I'm getting is because of Krishna. I was hearing a lecture today in the morning by Prabhupada. Prabhupada says that we are hankering for advancement, just one thing, to feed our own self and satisfy our senses. Just imagine an elephant who needs, he quotes about some kgs of food. Just imagine elephant, he needs a huge amount of food, right? And he just needs a little one grain. Both are not hankering anything. Krishna is planning for them. Then why can't Krishna plans to us? Today I went to book distribution, and today I met a lady, and she had nice discussion. We were discussing his business. He says, yes, in Bible also it's being said that the whale fish, in the ocean, she needs a lot of food. She needs a lot of food, and if God can plan food for the whale, then why not he can plan for us? Just only we need to have the faith in God, right? But again, Prabhupada says, but anyone who can understand that the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destructions of the cosmic manifestations are under superior guidance of the God. Krishna says, Maya Dakshana Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. So this all cosmos actually is under his control. So thus the Kurukshetra war was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should get up and fight and rule the kingdom as for the instruction of Krishna, right? And basically that is the perfection of life, to take our life as instructed by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So these are the teachings to us by which actually we can take up to Krishna consciousness and follow what Krishna says us to do, right? Now, this was a very important point, actually, this last line. So I will take a bit more time, but let's continue the next verse where Krishna says that don't worry about Dronacharya, Bhishma Pitama, or Karna, or anyone else, right? Even Karna was one of the greater warrior, though he had many curses, but he was a greater warrior as well, right? Let's see what Krishna says in next 34. Dronam
Dronam
cha
cha
Bhishmam
Bhishmam
cha
cha
Jayadrattam
Jayadradham
cha
cha
Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadrattam cha
Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadradham cha
Karanam
Karnam
Tathanyah
Tathanya
Pi
Api
Yodha
Yodha
Viran
Viran
Karanam Tathanyan Pi Yodha Virana
Karnam Tathanapi
Napi
Viran
Yodha Virana
Maya
Maya
Hatams
Hasta
Tvam
Svam
Jahi
Dahi
Ma
Ma
Vathistha
Vedishta
Maya Hatams Tvam Jahima Vathistha
Maya Svam Jahima Vyavishta
Yuddhasva
Yudhasva
Jitashi
Jetasi
Jetashi
Jetasi
Rane
Rane
Sapannan
sapatnam
युद्धस्य जेतासि रणे सपत्नान्
yuddhasva jetasi rane sapatnam
द्रोणं च also Drona, Bhishmam cha also Bhishmam, Jayadratham cha also Jayadratha, Karnam Karna tatha also Anyam others api certainly Yodham Viram great warriors, Maya by me Hatan already killed, Tvam you Jahi destroy, Ma do not, Vestitha be disturbed, Yudhyasya just fight, Jite ashi you will conquer, Rane in the fight, Sapatanam enemies. So Krishna, so as discussing earlier, right? So we know about the great warrior like Vishnu Pitama, Dronacharya, and Jayadratha and Karnas, and now Krishna is assuring to Arjuna. He's not talking about all others. He's just gave name of these four and five great warriors. He's assuring that don't worry, they are all also been taken care. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. He's saying, see, he's saying by me, it's all done. So therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in the battle. So that's Krishna assuring to Arjuna again that don't worry at all. Go and fight. It's my request order, whatever you say, but it's yes. And we'll see it in the when chapter finishes in chapter 18, Arjuna says, all my illusion has been gone and I'll fight, right? So every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is so kind and merciful to his devotees that he wants to give credit to his devotees who carry out his plans according to his desire. Right. So plans are already there, and in this context is also being discussed by devotees. Like sometimes says, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was he is Krishna himself, then when he came, why didn't he spread Krishna consciousness across the world? He could have done it. He's Krishna himself. He could have done it. But the point comes here. He wanted to give credit to his devotees, and he chosen Srila Prabhupada to give the credit to spread the Krishna consciousness across the whole world. Right. So now Krishna is choosing Arjuna to give the credit for the fighting this war, winning the war, and including the kingdom. Right. So that's how Krishna is so merciful to his devotees that he gives credit to his devotees. Right. So life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Krishna consciousness and understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of a spiritual master. This is very important because we cannot understand spirituality or about Bhagavad Gita, about Krishna by our own self. We need to take shelter of spiritual master. Krishna has already spoken that in chapter 4, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadanchite jnanam jnane tatvata darshina. So you need to, how to do it? Tad vidhi pranipatena, offer the obeisances, do service to him, and then inquire about things. It's not just, okay, show me God, right? It's not like that. Just do service to him, then or pay obeisances to him, pay respect to him, then inquire submissively about the spiritual matter, about the science of spirituality, science of God. Then as they have seen the truth, they will be able to show the right path, right? That's why to understand Krishna, to understand spirituality, spiritual context, we need like purpose of Srila Prabhupada to understand it, right? We need spiritual masters who can guide us in the path. So the plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by his mercy, and the plans of devotees are as good as his plans, right? So one should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. So you can say that Krishna has directly spoken to Arjuna that you get up and fight and win the fame, rule the kingdom. What if you can say, how can I get this from Krishna? How can I know? Krishna is not here in front of me. But actually Krishna is here. Krishna is here in the form of spiritual master. Krishna is here in the form of Chaitya Guru as a Paramatma within our heart. And he knows much better what our intention is. Why are you worshipping God? Right? In one of the lecture was saying very nicely that actually we worship God and say, okay, I am worshipping, I have this plan, please fulfill it. So we put our plans to Krishna. Oh Krishna, please fulfill my plans. I have a big plans. I wanted to buy a big bungalow, big car, and big things. So please fulfill my plans, right? But actually, it should be other way around. Oh Krishna, let me know how I need to live.
What your plan is, yeah. And
Yes.
please
So
put me to service.
yeah, there is nice says in Puranas, like जिस विधि रखे राम उसी विधि रहिए. So it's not like other way around. Okay, I want to live like this. Krishna, make my plan. No, just vidhi rakhe Ram. As Krishna is trying to keep us, let be happy in that same situation. Let be happy there, right? So that's, we need to understand about Krishna's plan, and to understand Krishna's plan, we need to take shelter of spiritual master, a spiritual master who can guide us, right? So yeah, I will. So from here, another scene continues, and will continue this next week, where Arjuna, Sanjay sees what Arjuna is speaking to Krishna and what Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, and he narrates more about what happens now. Right? This is nice conversation goes ahead. So I think this is one of the longest chapter. It says this is the third longest chapter. First is 18th, and second is chapter 2, and this is the third longest chapter. We'll continue next week, where we'll see what Sanjay is saying, that O king, after hearing these words from Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. And now, after this, actually, Arjuna started praising Krishna. He says more about Krishna. Oh Krishna, I have been thinking you as my friend. I have kicked you. I have slept with you. I have joking with you. I have all the things. Please forgive me. So that friendship is gone toward higher in all reverences, right? It's stuck to a different level. And then he says, oh Krishna, please come back to your sweet form, right? The 200 form. So we'll see those in the next sessions, right? Anyone have any quick questions, thought, or comments? Please feel free to add. Otherwise, we'll stop here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare